Hello class! How many of you, since quarantine started, have decided that you are now gardeners? Today I will be teaching you how to propagate a beautiful and hardy succulent. Not only is this a cheaper alternative than going to the store and purchasing succulents over and over again, but it also gives you an opportunity to become more in tune with Mother Nature in the comfort of your own home. I have been propagating succulents successfully for about a year prior to this demonstrational speech. First, I will inform you what tools you will need to properly propagate a succulent. I will then teach you how to propagate a succulent, and then I shall discuss with you what options you have at the end and what to do with your succulents. Now, in order to start this process, we must have the tools that we need. You may need to gather or purchase some of these items. You can do so by going to a nursery, Home Depot, a Lowe's, any sort of store that provides plant products. So, one thing that you may need to purchase is a succulent. You may also need to purchase succulent and cacti soil, or regular potting soil will work just fine. You may also need a squirt bottle or mister. Now, we can discuss all of the items that we need. You will need your succulent, your cacti, or some sort of soil. You will need your squirt bottle and mister. You will need a long plate. I prefer to use paper. Ultimately, it's up to you. And lastly, you will need an open window with adequate lighting. Now that we have everything that we need, we can move on to learning how to propagate a succulent. Now, let's discuss propagation. First, you will need your succulent right in front of you. You will also need to prepare your plate. You will do this by taking your plate and adding a thin layer of soil over your plate. You will then need to pat it down to make sure that it is thin and evenly layered and covers the entire surface of your plate. Next, you will cleanly take off some leaves from your succulent, like so. You can do this with either scissors or your hand, it does not matter. Now, the number of leaves that you take off of your succulent will end up being the number of succulent sprouts that you end up with at the end of this process. However, some of these leaves may shrivel up and die before you reach the end of this journey. That is 100% okay, and it happens. So, now that you have your leaf, you will go ahead and flatly place it on to your soil covered plate like so. You will then take your succulent covered soil plate and you will go ahead and put it into your window with direct sunlight. You will then take your spray bottle or mister and go ahead and spray your succulents. You will repeat this step daily for about 3 to 4 weeks. The time can vary depending on the conditions that you provide for your succulents and what succulent you choose to propagate. So, after about 4 weeks, you will have newly sprouted succulents. So, now that we have learned how to propagate a succulent, let's discuss what exactly we can do with the sprouts. So, now what? Well, one option is that you can plant your sprouts in a pot. You can arrange them however you feel is most aesthetically pleasing. However, keep in mind proper drainage. This is incredibly important. What you will need to do, you will have 2 options. One, you can make sure there's a hole at the bottom of your pot. The second option is to put rocks inside of your pot and then fill it up with soil and then plant your succulents on top of that. Another option is to just put them in another deep dished plate, like the one that you used to propagate them in. The last option is to just plant them in your very own backyard. Feel free to come up with any other ideas. Be creative as possible. So, today I have demonstrated what is needed to propagate a succulent and what exactly we can do with your new and exciting succulent sprouts. I went over the tools that are needed for propagation, how exactly to propagate a succulent, and what you can do with your end results. So, the next time that you feel the urge to go outside and buy another succulent, stop, stay at home, use the succulent that you already have, and propagate. Thank you.